And the worst bit was, I actually can't believe I'm admitting this, but he, like the Snapchat filters that made you look, there was one that made your skin look really like youthful, and he used that on like all his topless selfies, and I was like, oh God, what am I doing?
Hello and welcome back to Single Sounds. My name is Katie Mack and I am the host and creator of this matchmaking podcast where I interview singles and you, as the listeners of this podcast, can write in if you would like to date them. It is mid-October and we are very much into the cuffing season. How is everyone feeling? Personally, I'm still experiencing quite a lot of breakups within my close friendship groups. Which is quite unusual for this time of year. So slide into my DMs and chat to me about your October dating stories. My DMs are always open for some dating content to keep me entertained. I said in September that I would wait until at least October to download a dating app, but honestly, I'm just really not feeling them right now. The feedback from my listeners and my friends are just that they're terrible. So right now I'd love to live vicariously through you guys instead. So definitely reach out if you want to chat. This week's guest is looking for something serious with the right person. She potentially already features in a man's dating tips book, which I will be reading imminently and reporting back. She is the fake tanning queen, being a natural redhead, and has experienced quite a few icks. And if you have a mullet, unfortunately that will include you. She might be a bit late for your date, but you'll be sure to impress her if you wait there with a G&T. Hello, welcome to Single Sounds.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm very glad you're here.
I know, me too.
Let's dive into your profile. Who, what, where. So first off, who are you sexually attracted to?
Men.
And what are you looking for?
I'm looking for someone that is good fun and outgoing.
Nice.
Someone that's up for a good laugh. I have quite recently moved to London, so I am keen to explore. There's lots of places that I want to go, restaurants, bars, etc. So yeah, I'm looking for someone who is willing to explore with me.
Yeah, be a little tour guide.
Yeah, definitely. And also someone that is kind and caring and communicates well. I feel like that is a really big one for me.
Yeah, me too. Replies to my messages.
Yes, exactly. No digs there.
No, not any. Within a reasonable time frame.
Well, exactly, yeah.
A week is too long if you're
Far
listening.
too long, yeah. So in terms of like height, age preference, I am 27, so I would say I have a bit of a tendency to go for younger boys, which is probably why I'm still single. So
I love that self-diagnosis.
Let's go 27 upwards, probably to like mid-30s, I'd say.
Yeah.
And height, I'm not too fussed really, as long as I'm like 5'6", so probably anywhere above that really.
Yeah, sounds good. Oh, what about like, are you looking for a serious relationship?
Yes, I am looking for something a little bit more serious, I would say. I've been single for quite a while, so definitely looking for someone that is looking for a relationship, but also it has to be with the right person.
Yeah, not settling. We don't settle
We're
on this
not
podcast.
Settling.
Some fun dates
Definitely.
to find someone worthy.
Definitely.
That's
I
the
know my
vibe.
worth.
Okay. And finally, where would you like to date?
So as I said, I've just moved to London like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So I'm happy anywhere in London. I feel like I traveled to see my friends, so that's cool. But yeah, ideally stick in this region considering I've just moved here.
Yeah.
I'm southeast, so but yeah, happy to go anywhere.
Yeah, like zones 1 to 3.
Yeah, within reason, yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the 3 A's. We've got acceptance, adventure, and affection. We're going to start with acceptance. So this is, will they be accepting of your flaws and your quirks? First question, what is your toxic trait?
So I feel like this is quite basic and it's what everyone says, but it's being late.
Oh yeah, it's a bit of a basic answer, but
it is.
It needs to be said if it's your true trait.
I'm just being honest. I'm late to everything, and I genuinely think it's like part of who I am. Like I blame my mum because she is late to everything, and I think it's like
hereditary.
It's been passed down the gene pool. Like it's not my own fault. Like even when I try and be on time to stuff, and I try and like actively, just be on time, I'm just not. I don't know what
You're
it is.
not like super late, I don't think, though.
See, I think all my friends think I'm like a really bad late person.
Yeah, I don't.
And it's become such a toxic trait that I now like if I'm on time something or even early, I like actively seek validation
like,
and congratulations.
Look at me.
I went to a brunch on Sunday and I was like, I was so annoyed because I got there 2 minutes early. Like, I remember looking at the time being like, oh my God, I've smashed it. I'm 2 minutes early. And I was still the fourth out of 6 to arrive, fuming. And in addition to that, I was like, guys, where's my congratulations for being on time?
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, oh yeah, like
you were
whatever.
second
and I was
last.
like, I know. I was like, come on now.
Everyone else is just too keen.
Yeah.
I mean, I am that person. I do arrive like 10 minutes early.
Yeah. But no, sadly, I'm late to everything.
Okay. Next question is, what is your shower thoughts?
So I feel like this is a little bit of a strange one. However, the other day I saw a spider before I got into the shower. And it got me thinking about insects, all the important things. And I was just thinking, obviously, as humans, the concept of age is a huge thing, right? We're constantly guided by our age in terms of like what we are allowed or not allowed to do.
Like milestones.
Yeah. And every year, it's a big celebration, whatever. But I was and same with animals, like your pets, you know how old they are.
Yeah.
And things.
That's true.
If you see, and even like farmers probably know how old their like stock are, right? Is that what they're called?
Stock? Yeah, livestock, yeah. I bet they do, I've never thought of that. That's a good shower thought in itself.
This is really, I was thinking deep.
Do they murder them at a certain time? Probably.
Oh God, murder's a strong word.
Well,
it is murder.
They do
murder.
slaughter. I feel like that's worse.
Yeah.
They probably do, don't they? So they probably
that's what I mean. Like
think about how many like cycles they've had of like. They've had like so many calves and then they're like, time to go. You've already had 3. I don't know.
Like you're on your way out,
Yeah.
So that. But then insects, if you saw a spider or a fly, you would have no idea how old that is.
And you'd never question it. I've never thought like how old that spider is.
Because it could have literally have been born. A spider's born? I don't know.
I think,
eggs?
I think they're kind of hatched,
Hatched. It could have hatched
I don't really know.
3 days ago, but it also could be like 5 years old. So I just thought that was
I don't know how I actually don't know how long they live. I think
no,
they
I
do
don't
live.
think they live that long, probably, but unless you like keep them as a pet, which is
this is that's exactly what my mind was going to. I'm pretty sure pet tarantulas live years, not months, but that's quite a big one. So maybe the little ones are less.
The little one, like, what is the average lifespan of a spider? How does anyone ever know that? And the same with a fly.
You're gonna have to monitor them.
Yeah, and then it got me thinking even more about how the spectrum of like, as humans, again, you get people that are really physically fit, people who are like in the middle, mediocre, go to the gym, work out, makes them feel good. And then you get like people that, are maybe more sedentary. Do you get like really lazy insects that just like don't move? And like spiders that just live in the same house for life or in the same area? Or things like flies, which probably can move a lot quicker. Do flies like migrate between cities?
Okay, look, I've had this thought so many times. When there's a bug trapped in your car and then you drive somewhere quite far and they survive the whole journey and then you release them into like this new city. I literally always think like, do they know where they are? Are they like, oh my God, I've just travelled miles? Or do they just now have no friends and no family?
Well, this is it. You just
But do they even have friends and family? Like what?
Oh, that is awful.
Okay, let's move on to adventure. You're going to take us on a journey with your stories. What is your worst dating story?
So basically, it's not just a singular date. Unfortunately, I went on more than one date with this guy, which sounds really harsh. But yeah, it was sort of, the situation was, I met him, probably the amber flag started from the very beginning. I met him on a night out, but he wasn't like an organic usual meeting. He was the bouncer on this night out.
Oh, nice. Classic.
Yeah.
Not really classic, but...
Exactly. And he gave me his number and it was peak COVID times. Lockdown had just lifted. And so there was not like a lot going on in my life. And I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll go on a date with him.
I think if you find someone attractive, why not?
Exactly. He was an attractive guy. And so we went for a date, we went for a drink.
And organic meeting's quite exciting. I'll throw that in there. I
nicer
feel
than the app sometimes.
Yeah, if you like meet someone on a night out, you're a bit more likely to be like, why not?
Yeah. So we went for a drink and I think the first issue was that he did a lot of the talking in the first like 10 to 15 minutes. I got myself a glass of wine and I drank the whole thing before I'd barely said 3 words. And it was like, oh, that's a bad start. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing worse than like going on a date with someone and you feel like you're interviewing them and they're so dry that you can't get anything out of them. But it was kind of the other extreme. And I was like, oh God, is he going to ask anything about me?
I agree. You want someone to be interested in you as well.
Exactly.
That's the whole
It's a
thing.
two-way street.
Yeah.
And so...
You want to say something.
Exactly. And it got better through the first date.
Yeah, maybe it could have been nerves.
Yeah, maybe. So then through the date, he was nice, he was attractive. I think what was weird was that I don't really know. You know, when you just reflect and you're like, God, why did I ever do that? So on his Instagram, we kind of like followed each other on Instagram before the date, and he was like very much a topless selfie kind of guy, which if I saw that on a dating app, I'd be like,
left.
Absolutely no.
Bye.
Yeah. But for
That's
some
like
reason,
a hard, fast rule for me. No topless photos.
Same. I'm like, the rest of your profile could be great, but it's just...
And my most toxic app experience situation, he had a topless photo. So that was on me.
God.
That was
Says
on
it
me.
all.
It was my fault.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh, what am I doing? And the worst bit was, I actually can't believe I'm admitting this, but you know, like the Snapchat filters that made you look, there was one that made your skin look really like youthful, and it kind of like gave you a facelift.
Like
I can't remember what it's called.
I think, neither can I.
But it made
I
you
really
like
wish I could
tanned
remember.
and...
Yeah.
Was it like baby face or something? No, maybe not baby face. But it was that one.
It made your skin like really smooth.
Yeah, and he used that on like all his topless selfies, and I was like, oh God, what am I doing?
So it was just the thought of like, who's he sending those to?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Surely he didn't just take them to post them. They probably went to people that he was like chatting or trying to impress. It's awful. Gross.
And yet, but the worst bit is that he actively uploaded them as well on like Instagram. Like, that's awful. But anyway,
he chose to do it.
No judgment. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, that was not a great start. And then through the date, I was like, he seemed nice. He was interesting character, but nice. And then we went on a second date, which, if I'm honest, I'm kind of like, why did that even happen? I don't know. But anyway, we spoke between the dates as well. And like, I just found that on the second date, he like repeated a lot of stories that he'd already told me. And I felt like there was just a bit of inconsistency. And almost like, I don't know, if I'm honest, I felt like he was a compulsive liar, because he basically started telling a story about his job, and there were so many things that I was just like, it's not, the math ain't mathing, you know? Yeah. Like, it's not adding up, and I don't really know what's going on here. The other thing that he said was, he started talking about like, if we were to date more regularly, that basically he would only be available on a Monday and a Tuesday, which I just thought was very odd behaviour. Like,
and in the time of like COVID, what you doing?
Right? Was anyone doing in this time? And he had an excuse for like every day of the week other than Monday and Tuesday. And I used to go to like a dance class regularly on a Monday, and I was like, well, I can't do Mondays, so it looks like it's only ever a Tuesday,
which is lame. It's just lame.
It's just not a good date day.
It's not date night.
Exactly.
It is if you're like basically married. Do you know what I mean? You can like cook maybe or something.
Yeah, but I found that very odd. And then turns out, to cut a very long story short, I ended it after the second date. I was like, oh, it was nice getting to know you over message. I was like, look, I don't see this going any further. And he basically... I have a feeling
I know where this is going.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Keep going.
Basically, I continued to follow him on Instagram because I was like, no hard feelings. You know, sometimes you're a bit invested in these people and you're like, I kind of want to know what happens in their life.
I agree. Like, also, if you called it off, you're not bitter. So you're kind of like... Yeah. I can follow your, journey. Why not?
So I was like, fine, continue to follow him. I think he unfollowed me, which is a bit like, okay, whatever.
Bitter. Yeah. I don't unfollow anyone for that exact reason. I think it's so embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mute if it's going to bother me. Like, but exactly. Even then, I barely.
So he unfollowed me, but I continued to follow him. And then about 4 or 5 months after we stopped dating, I say dating, it was like 2 dates, but he was all over his stories, all over his posts, was that he had released this book.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, weird.
Oh my God, did you buy the book?
I didn't buy the book, but the book was all about how to get the woman that you're after. So basically...
It was like tips.
And honestly, Amazon branded him as like a dating expert with 10 years of experience and
oh my gosh,
all this and that, like all the extravaganza that you wanted in a man to tell you who to find in this world. And he was...
I would have 100%... I might buy this book still.
No, don't give this man your money, please. So basically, he released this book about how to get the woman of your dreams and all that jazz. And I just feel, on reflection, like I was a guinea pig. I think the reason that he only had Mondays and Tuesdays available is because he probably had like a Wednesday, Thursday girl. And then he had like a Saturday or a Friday girl and then a Saturday, Sunday girl. And
how's that finding
because he was like,
oh, testing everyone.
he was dating all these girls at once, which again, it's only been 2 dates. I literally don't care. Date who you want.
Yeah.
But
to give them set days though, that's messed up.
But I think that's because that's in his head. He was like, I need a timeline so that I'm not getting confused with these girls. Or they clearly did because he was repeating his stories all the time. But I just felt like I was a guinea pig for his dating book.
Yeah.
And then,
what if you're in it?
well, this is what I mean.
What if you're Monday, Tuesday girl that
I'm Monday,
pulls out?
Tuesday girl. And then
This is why I would have had to have bought it.
So come my birthday,
No.
I told some of my friends about this.
No.
And guess what arrives in the post from Amazon?
Ooh,
The book.
got it. Oh my God,
And
that's
I was
so
like,
funny.
I was dying. I was like, why have you given your money to this man?
Worth
Yeah.
it. Worth
So
it.
now I still have this book. I'm yet to open it.
Oh, you haven't read it?
I've not read it.
Oh my
I feel like one day I do
I wish you
probably
bought
need
it.
to.
We could have read a chapter.
I know. We could have found Monday, Tuesday girl in the book.
Maybe I'll post it on the Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, I've unfollowed him now. I was like, I'm done. You've used me as
Yeah,
a
but
guinea
we
pig.
could still find the book. Maybe it's...
I've still got it.
Yeah.
But the worst bit, so that
could
was all fine.
screenshot a bit of it.
Yeah.
That's really inspirational.
Oh God. So yeah, he basically, I feel like he used me as a guinea pig for his dating life, and it's just not great. But I still have the book. I just like chucked it in a drawer at home because I was like, well,
Can you remember what it's called?
yeah, but
Oh.
do I reveal?
Yeah.
Do I give him the satisfaction?
I think
Shall
so.
I? It's called How to Get the Girl.
Oh, okay. But pretty basic.
Yeah, exactly. So I have the book and it's like shoved in a drawer at home. But the worst thing is my mum is having this like huge spring clean and clearing out everything in the house now that we've all moved out. And I'm really worried that she's going to find this book and be like,
In the drawer,
have you got something to tell us? Like, why are you trying to, like, because it's called How to Get the Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Is she going to think that
I didn't think of that.
I'm like coming out to her in a really subtle way.
Yeah,
Or I don't know.
leaving a book around.
And like, I'm literally like, oh, and I don't even think it's that cheap, the book. I'm like, why have my friends invested in this
It's probably
book?
like the
But-
standard price of like 10 quid.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I'd pay 10 quid just for that joke.
You can have the book. I will donate the book to you, Katie. It's absolutely fine.
Yay.
You're welcome.
And then I'll get pictures of it.
Yeah.
I'll get it from your mum. Be like, I left this here, not don't panic.
Please
Oh, I
tell her
just said
that.
your name. Oops.
Oh. Oh well. So I feel like even though that's a very long story and it's not really related to the person's, well, it kind of is, but it was more the situation in general and how it ended. I was like,
Yeah. Do you know if he's got the girl now?
I actually saw him in Leicester, where I'm from. He was like walking down the street with a dog and this girl, and I was like, oh, he's
Maybe he
made
got
it.
the girl.
He got the girl. But the fact that he was like, he must have written all the stuff on the back of the, you know, like, what's it called? The back of the book.
prologue, is it? Or
He must have written
No.
that, and it's literally
Yeah.
like 10 years dating experience.
Isn't that just
like-
dating though? Don't we all have like however many
Yeah.
years? You've got 27.
I won't go that far, but yeah.
Do you know what I mean though?
But
Like,
also,
what are we counting? Even if you're in a relationship, it's still dating experience. Don't we all have X years of dating experience?
I'm just so annoyed with myself. I was like, why did I go on a second date with him? You know, when you reflect and you're like, there were so many dodgy parts to that situation.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the advice though is always go on the second date, like just in case.
Yeah, and in fairness, I'm like, if you're not quite sure, a second date really reaffirms
That's
to you
the
whether
thing.
you're
I
keen
think
or
that's
not.
why people say like, if you don't know, just give it a go, because what have you got to lose? Like,
Exactly.
we've got plenty of examples of people that weren't sure initially and then they went on more
Yeah.
dates and they were like, actually, they're great.
And actually, I feel like sometimes when you get those initial butterflies on the first date and you're like, oh, I really, really fancy someone, sometimes it's not always the best sign.
I agree.
Someone that's like a grower on you is
Much better.
Yeah.
I read this recently. Apparently the butterflies are actually like anxiety.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, you shouldn't read into them that much. Apparently it just means you're like nervous, which actually isn't great.
Yeah, because you want someone that like you can relax around.
Yeah,
after
exactly.
The first like 10,
and that's why
15
again,
minutes.
like most people would say, actually what you're looking for is, they call it getting into a warm bath. Doesn't sound as exciting as
that
fireworks.
really sounds awful.
Yeah, but as in like, it's just like slipping into like niceness. That's how you're meant to feel, like safe and comfortable, not like
Yeah.
a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, let's move on to what is the award you should be nominated for.
So the award I think I should be nominated for, but all my friends will wildly disagree with this, is fake tanning.
Oh yeah.
So I think sometimes awards aren't always for being the best of the best, but it's more the effort you put
most
into it.
consistent.
Right? And you don't understand the effort that goes into my fake tan routine as a ginger girl.
To get it right.
Yeah, as a ginger girl who has very pale skin and like I physically cannot, there's no
No option for
called?
tanning.
What's the thing in your skin that makes you tan?
Oh,
Melanin.
melanin.
Anyway, you know what I mean. I physically cannot tan. There is a whole routine to it. I have to like one day of the week exfoliate, get it all off. It's not a cheap activity either.
Not if you're buying the nice stuff.
Exactly. And I'm actually on a mission this year to try, not that anyone's going to be interested in this, but I'm on a mission to try like all the different tan products on the market. I'll get back to you on that one, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that could be a risky business though. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be some shit ones in there.
Well, true. But I think I should like start a TikTok where I'm like reviewing them all. I think that'd be a great
tan
thing.
queen. Yeah. You should, a little series.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a whole routine. I have to like exfoliate one night, apply the moisturize thoroughly, apply the next night, and then I do a second application. Like there is a whole background to it.
Yeah.
And I feel that people don't appreciate
it's a full-time job.
It is. And
side hustle.
Right? And all I do is get the piss taken out of me for like my patchy skin. And to be fair, I don't think I'm that patchy. I think
you're not
sometimes
patchy at all.
Maybe my elbow today is not looking great. Let's be real. But it's one of two. So we'll take it.
But it doesn't look like it's fake though. It just looks like that could be your skin.
I appreciate
I think
your
so.
support, Katie.
Could
It's
be
very lovely.
like a mark.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, I think 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 for effort from me for fake tanning because people don't understand.
It's a commitment.
It is. And people that naturally tan don't understand how hard
I can imagine.
I have it.
I feel like this is a privilege that I've not appreciated, so I'm going to appreciate it more.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. But yeah, it's an expensive hobby. And yeah.
But the other alternatives are like ruining your skin. Like,
yeah, but people are like, go on a sunbed. I personally would never do that, but I actually don't think my skin would tan.
I agree, I think.
No.
You'd probably just burn because you can burn in them.
Oh, well, this is what I mean. All I ever do is like a few freckles will come out and I just burn or I stay very pale.
Freckles.
So
It's not an option.
it's not an option for me. So yeah, much to my friends' amusement, I think I should be nominated for being a great fake tanner, but everyone else will disagree because of the patchiness.
I think you do a really good job, to be fair.
Oh, thanks. I actually really appreciate that.
No, yeah, because we used to live together at uni, and I've done your back before.
You have?
I have, and I think
You're a
you just
pro.
do really good.
Thanks. Yeah, I think.
Do you do your face?
So I use
Or something different.
drop like fake tan drops on my face.
Yeah. I was going to say, because that's always really good. That's the skill.
I mean, obviously, like usually I just match my foundation to the shade of my tan.
That's talented.
Well, I don't know. I get a lot of shit for it, so you're being very kind, and I really appreciate it. But
I think everyone else is being too mean.
well, yeah, I'll tell them that next time. Also, I feel like personally, this is going to sound crazy, but I would rather be tanned in general and they have the odd patch, elbow, knee, a little bit of a patch, than be like my natural pale self. It's a hill that I'll die on. I'd rather be patchy than pale as hell. So take what you will from that.
Fair enough. I'm thinking, like, I've known you for so long. I don't think I know what your natural skin colour is.
No one does.
But I just assume it's what you always look like.
That's very kind of you. But yeah,
No.
I think I'm great at fake tanning.
I think you are.
It's just the smell is not the greatest, but hopefully.
We're not really selling this.
Oh God, yeah, I know. No one's going to bloody write in. Some people like it. Some people love it.
I was just about to say that, actually. I really don't like it, but I can't smell it on you ever. But some people are like drenched in it. But I think that's more the spray. When you go for like a full-on spray tan, you stink.
And like I wash it off.
And I don't
before
like
I
it. Yeah.
actively socialise. So
Yeah.
it's all good.
Okay, let's move on to affection section. This is where we're going to find out what is your biggest ick.
So first of all, I just want to say shout out to the girl who had all the icks on her notes.
Oh, it was so good, wasn't it?
She was great. I feel like me and her would get on like a house on fire because I need to do this going forward.
I've started my own after
Love
hers.
it.
I've only got one on the list so far.
What's on it?
I feel really bad because I hope he doesn't listen. He might.
Savage.
I know, I feel really bad. We did tell him it at the time, to be fair. Basically, we were at this like pub and this guy came up and he knew someone in the group and we obviously like waved. We were sat outside being like, hey. He parked his Lime bike and then you have to take a picture of it when you lock it up.
Right.
Like to end the ride to show that you've like left it in a sensible place. And the action of him taking the photo was the biggest ick.
Oh no.
Ever. Because like obviously, it's a bit awkward when he was like across the road.
Yeah.
That's always a bit awkward when someone's like a bit further away and you wave and then you like I have the time when you start talking to them.
Oh, so
you know, like
awkward, yeah.
that whole thing where you see them in the distance and you're both just looking at each other and you can't speak yet. But it was even more uncomfortable because we were like, hey, how are you? And then he was like, cool, I've just got a... And then like stood back from the bike, took a photo and then walked over and then was like, hey, sorry about that. And he was like, I have to take a photo. And then he explained
Oh, you don't
his
need to
accent.
justify it.
And we were like, we know we've hired them before, but it
Oh,
was just the
God.
whole interaction was so icky.
Yeah, I feel you. That is awful.
It was really hard to explain, like, because it seems like such a thing, such a bitch to like pick up on that.
Well,
but
this is
we were all sat there like, oh, this is really cringe.
Yeah, and this is the thing with it, because I feel like you do sound like a bitch. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's the most ridiculous things,
It
but
was
you just
so icky.
once you see the ick, you can't unsee it. It's awful.
It was the way he had to step back. Then it made me think about how many times I've done that with the forest
Yeah.
bikes. And I was like, how icky have I been this whole time?
I'm a walking ick.
But yeah, that's my one that's on there.
Fair enough. I feel like that's
And I
a
got
good one.
photo evidence because I thought it might be fun to like take photos of the ick every time it happens.
Oh God, this
So
poor guy.
I know, so I've got a photo of him taking a picture of his bike.
Oh God.
But yeah,
That's funny.
we're not on my ex, we're on your ex.
So my first ick, which has been an ongoing thing, and I just can't get on board with it. I don't understand why it's a trend. Mullets.
Oh yeah,
They're just the worst.
that's like Gen Z. My brother has one. He's like 19.
I'm really sorry, but it's a no from me.
20,
I just
actually.
can't.
Yeah.
At least it's something that can be fixed.
Yeah,
You
just
know?
recut, but it's funny.
no.
It's like slowly crept into our generation over time.
Yeah.
Because when my brother first got one, me and my other brother teased him so much because he's only 2 years below me, so we're like a slightly different
Yeah.
time, and we were like, you look American, ridiculous, like. And now I keep seeing all these boys with it around London, and I'm like, wait a minute, have you all just
Yeah.
graduated uni, or is it like creeping up? And I think it's creeping.
I think it's creeping up. I know
Yeah.
like 30-year-olds that have it, and I'm
Oh
like,
no, that's such an
it's
ick.
the fact you've actively gone to a barber and been like, I want a mullet. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, it's just a massive no
It's
from
true.
me.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah, like, imagine
He's had to
asking
ask
for-
that.
Oh, no, I can't.
No.
So that's my first one. Second one is, and I feel like this is, all of them are quite niche from here onwards, but
That's good. We like the niche.
you know, boys that wear like rings on fingers, fine. Obviously not a wedding ring, not breaking up any marriages over here, but rings on fingers, like on your index finger,
Okay.
a black metallic ring.
Oh yeah. No, I know the one.
Ring on
They're
your
very
index
like
finger.
aggressive.
Yeah, no, I hate that. The other one, which is actually, I didn't experience firsthand, but this was a friend who sadly had to experience this recently. She went on a date and I can't lie, there was a lot through the date that I was thinking, oh.
Well, as she was explaining.
Yeah, and she even herself was reflecting and was like, oh, I don't really know why I continued the date. But one thing led to another and they spent the evening together, which is, fair enough. And the next morning he hung around like a bad smell, which is just not great, to the point where it was like, I don't know, a Thursday. She was working.
Oh my goodness. A
In-
weekday hanging about.
Yeah.
Oh no,
And
that's
she
so
was-
embarrassing. Did he not have anything to do? Like work?
I think he was like off work for the day. But she
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah.
She was working from home. She set up her like desk in her living room, dialed into a Teams call, and he
No.
was still lingering on her sofa.
In the background.
Yeah, and she was like, why are you not getting the message that I want you to leave? It gets worse. He then finally got the message and was out the door, was putting his shoes on, and she looked down at his feet, and I don't actually know what they're called, but he was wearing individual toe socks.
Oh,
As in, imagine
yeah.
gloves on your hand,
Yeah,
but
I
on
know
your
the
feet,
ones.
where your like individual toes
Yeah.
are covered.
I think people like run in them or something.
No,
It's just like a cotton version.
I mean, I think, yeah, people do run in them, but
Yeah.
it's just an absolute
Oh, it's awful, yeah.
hideous. And apparently she literally burst out laughing and was like, what the hell are they?
What are those?
Yeah,
Like that.
literally. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, he didn't appreciate that that's abnormal. And he was like, they're so much more comfortable. And she was like,
Are
no,
they
no,
though?
no.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are. I think they're
What's wrong with your
bizarre.
toes touching? Also, they're not inclusive because I have one web toe.
Oh,
So
really?
couldn't
I
wear
didn't
them
know
anyway.
that about you.
It's not fully. It's like half.
Okay.
Um,
But yeah, individual toe socks is an absolute no. And yeah, I'll never get on board with that.
no, neither. 'Cause
and
I
the-
can't even borrow them.
So sad.
Imagine a whole item of clothing that you can't even wear.
And then the last one is very niche, but it's people who don't have dark mode on their phone. Like, I don't know about you, I always have dark mode on.
I'm
and
a
when people
light
have
moder,
light mode, I'm
actually.
like, ew.
Oh, I'm an ick.
You're an ick. I think a lot of people are an ick.
But you're right. A lot of men I know have dark mode.
Yeah.
So-
And it's not like I'm trying to hide anything. I don't think it actually hides anything, but
No, it's just
I
black.
I find
It's
it
like
much
your
more
texts are like black,
appealing
right?
to the eye.
Instead.
Yeah, so my background is black and my text is white.
Yeah.
And I just like WhatsApp as well. I'm always like, ooh, my friend sent me a screenshot earlier and she had light mode on and I was like, ooh, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Okay, let's do your bestie rec.
Oh, exciting.
You excited?
There are so many reasons why you should date this girl. You do not want to miss out. First and foremost, she's just moved to London, so she could really do with a tour guide to show her around. Although, make sure you're only taking her to the classy places because only the best will do for this classy girl. She is hilarious, kind, beautiful. I could go on. She has quite a lot of benefits due to her job, so she'll always know what to prescribe to make you feel the best. Honestly, what are you waiting for? She will be snapped up very soon.
I feel like that was such a weird reference.
Which one?
About my job.
The job.
God.
I liked it.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it was good because it's like, yeah, you're pretty useful in that sense. No, you don't think?
not really. No.
If I had a headache, I could message you being like, what do I need?
Yeah, fair enough.
You'd probably just say paracetamol. But
There's only so much you can buy over the counter, so
okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. I feel like you know that. I like how she got your classiness in there.
Oh.
She was like classy places only.
I don't really think I'm that classy, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I feel like you'd go anywhere pretty much.
Yeah.
Definitely a pub.
Oh, I'd definitely
Yeah.
go to a pub.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Maybe
I'm
not a
quite-
grimy pub. But I wouldn't
No.
like. Who would like that anyway?
Yeah, I actually went on a date quite recently and took someone to a really grimy pub, and I was like mortified. You know, when
Yeah,
you're like,
it's, like, so
"No,
embarrassing."
we have to leave like straight away.
It's like, I promise I didn't know it was like this.
Yeah,
You don't want
yeah.
them to think it's like your regular, do you?
I know, and it was near where I live, and he was like, "Well, this is your area," and I was like, "Oh, good God!" So moral of the story is never go somewhere you've never been before on a date
it's
because you
true.
just need to.
Don't suggest a new venue unless you're like, or you've been recommended it, like you're really sure.
Yeah, not good, but yeah, she's cute.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up with your short summary of why someone should date you.
So if you fancy being my tour guide around London, then you should write in and come on a date with me.
Yay.
Just make sure that there's not only vodka on the menu because I'm allergic. And
Nice.
my go-to drink is a G&T, if you're asking.
Super cute. I love that. I hope someone's asking.
Oh, God.
I'll buy you one.
Great. Sounds good. I'm in.
Cute. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yay, welcome.
So if you think this classy gal could be for you, definitely write into the podcast at Single Sounds on Instagram to get her details. Next week, I'll be interviewing the last single man of London before moving on to the northern episodes. And I really can't wait for you guys to hear them. They brought so much energy and they're just amazing. And if you're feeling generous today, please rate the podcast, preferably with 5 stars, whichever platform you're listening on right now. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.